I think that is correct, Golly. We are back in Paris now, and once again, broadcasting from the ambassador's residence here in the centre of the city. And once again, I'm joined this evening by Dr Sfiso Buthelezi, the family's spokesman here, and also, of course, South Africa's former Deputy Finance Minister. Dr Buthelezi, thank you very much indeed for allowing us in here again and for talking to us. Let's just establish the timeline. You now have clearance to repatriate the late ambassador's remains back to South Africa on Thursday. Is that for certain?
Yeah. I think where we are, the main thing today is that we got the permission to repatriate the ambassador back home, right? So based on that, we can be able to go home on Thursday and arrive in South Africa on Friday. That's something that we couldn't do before because the body had not been released by the government. Now the French authorities have said they've handed the body to us, or at least gave us a permission to take the body to the private morgue, so we can continue. The first available flight back to South Africa is on Thursday, right? So we think that other processes by that time will be finished. Obviously, there are a lot of permits that both governments must go into and so on. So we think those processes will be able to be taken care of so that we get home as soon as possible. Must tell you, Simon, that we just can't wait. We just can't wait to take ambassador back home. This is the father of some children. It's the brother. It's a comrade, it's a friend, and this is the son of the soil, and this is an international citizen. So we're very elated that at least we can now say we're working on taking him back home. There are no hurdles as far as the autopsy is concerned.
So I was going to ask you, with regard to the processes, and I know that this, you've said to me on numerous occasions over the last week, we've never done this before, and of course, why would you have done? Is the autopsy complete now? Is the post-mortem complete? And do you know anything at all about the findings of the autopsy?
The autopsy is complete. That's why the authorities in France, the commissioner in France, could say that now you can have the body. So that means that the autopsy is finished. And that's how far it goes. There's no report that has been handed to us. We don't have a report as things stand at the moment. And I'm sure it's still early to do that. We were told that there is a process that you get into to finally get the results of the autopsy. So as things stand now, all what has been given, we have been given the permit to have the body. So it means that whatever they wanted to do, they are done with that. So that's what has happened.
And were you and Mrs. Mthethwa able finally to see the remains of the ambassador?
Definitely, I was able to see the remains of the ambassador, and I was accompanied by a young man, Zengumalo, to go there and visit. I visited my brother in mortuary. I was doing that on the basis of the family, on the basis of the Mthethwa family, who are now in Kwambonambi, in northern KZN. I was doing it on behalf of the community of Kwambonambi, the community of Clearwater, all South Africans that he has touched their lives. But of course, also doing it on behalf of the citizen of the world. This man was a citizen of the world, as an ambassador of South Africa to France. Remember, he represented the president of South Africa when he's here as an ambassador.
I cannot imagine how traumatic that experience of seeing his remains must have been for you.
Yeah, it's quite traumatic, as you have correctly said. The last time I met him in January, I visited him. We were laughing and so on and everywhere with him. So the next time I see him, he can't talk to me. But let me tell you, I spoke to him, and I know that he heard me saying that's the way that the world, South Africans, appreciate him, and the fact that we're here with him is not alone. And yeah, I think he heard us.
And can I ask you about the fetching the spirit ritual? Because I know that you were saying a few days ago that you couldn't repatriate the body until family members from South Africa had actually visited the site at the hotel where the former ambassador died. When will you be doing that? Is the way clear for you to do that? Because I know that the scene where he was found, certainly until the weekend, was still sealed by police.
South African government and the families in South Africa, they are frantically working on that, on getting Onyambos, the Mthethwas here, so that they can, in their own way, come and fetch their son. So we think that is going to happen, because I know I've spoken to the Deputy Minister, Alvin Portes. I've spoken to the DTG, Lomo, spoken to the to the Minister, Lamula. All they are putting shoulder to the wheel to ensure that that very important part of our ritual happens. But so I'm hopeful, and I've got no doubt to say that's now Thursday. It gives us some leeway to be able to have them here.
But that has to happen before you can fly the remains home.
Yes, yes, that has to happen, because that's the thing that we believe that you must have this the person as you take the body, but your ritual ensures that you also take the spirit back to his final home of rest.
I'd like to ask you about a couple of other developments today. First of all, clarification from the French authorities that both phones, the ambassador had 2 cell phones, they were both in his possession. They never found a phone, as French media had reported 6 days ago, in the Bois de Boulogne, this wooded area in the center of Paris, dangerous and unsavory place to be at night, and they never searched for the ambassador in the Bois de Boulogne. I know that that is an issue that Mrs. Mthethwa was anxious to see clarified and resolved. We were able to clarify that and resolve it. What was her reaction to that today?
Obviously, Mrs. Mthethwa knew that that's not the place that Ambassador Mthethwa would go to, right? So, but when there were those allegations of phones being found, and very clean, that's what you said, the phones when I was with her, and phones being brought to her, brought by the police. Remember that I was there, and the police never said anything about something which was found in any bush. So Mrs. Mthethwa has always believed that the phones were with her husband, wherever he was, not in that funny place that people talk about. But I'm happy, Simon, that you are clarifying that. We are saying that I hope those media houses which were spreading this, that will be old enough to come and retract it and say the police have confirmed that these things, just like his coat, just like his cap, just like his remote, were found in the room that it said to where it said jumped from.
And we were reporting earlier today on Newzroom Afrika from the cemetery near the Battle of the Somme, a couple of hours north of Paris, where the ambassador participated just the Sunday a week ago in what would be his last set-piece event as South Africa's ambassador to France, honouring the memory of South African soldiers who lost their lives in the First and the Second World Wars. And there was reporting over the weekend that he had told some participants in that ceremony that when he went to the cemetery and visited the markers that mark where the fallen South African soldiers are buried, that he was agonized because he realized that for many of them, their spirits had never been fetched back to South Africa because that was not possible in the immediate aftermath of the 2 wars. Also, there were reports that in the week prior to his death, he had some sort of a dream about his deceased father, his late father, calling him home. Do those reports ring true? And are they in any way helping to provide some indication about what may have been on his mind as the events that led up to his death occurred?
Simon, I don't like speculating, especially under these conditions. But what I would say, the soldier in him made him visited other soldiers and salute them for having defended country, our countries against, amongst others, fascism, right? So the soldier in him said, let me go and take a salute, my last salute. From what happened, perhaps whatever he was feeling, but I think he left this motherland just like those people and said, well, whether in whatever way, but the very fact that that was his last deed that we are talking about today, I think it speaks to the soldier in him.
And finally, can I ask you tonight about the fact that the 5 South African Police Service investigators that are coming to France to join the investigation or assist the French in their investigation are still not here? We all thought they were going to arrive over the weekend. Is the family concerned about whether they're eventually going to come? Are you disappointed that they're not here now, or is this all just bureaucratic paperwork and it will eventually work its way out?
Look, the police work in their own way. They know what they want and so on. Unfortunately, I've never been there, so they know what's happening, and I'm sure they'll find a way of working with each other. We have decided that we are not going to focus on many other things. Our focus, as it were at the moment, is just to ensure that Comrade Nathi, Brother Nathi, father of the kids, Nathi, son of the soil, is being taken back to South Africa. That has been our focus. It remains our focus, and it will be our focus until we see ourselves landing at OR Tambo Airport.
Dr. Sfiso Buthelezi, you have been so generous with your time and accessible to us, and I'm enormously grateful to you for that, not just tonight, but over the course of the past week. Dr. Sfiso Buthelezi is the family spokesman here at the South African ambassador's residence, also, of course, a former deputy finance minister. So the way, Golly, is clear, as far as we can tell, for the repatriation of the late ambassador's remains to South Africa by Thursday, with the caveat that the Fetching the Spirit ritual needs to take place at the Hyatt Regency Hotel prior to that. And as you heard from Dr. Buthelezi, the family still working out the details of who exactly will be coming to participate in that. But certainly...
Sorry, can I correct that?
Of course you can.
Yes, no. The family has decided to exactly who's going to come.
You know who's coming.
Yeah. The family has decided, and as I said, that the government at home is working frantically on that to ensure that the family does come. So we know who's supposed to be coming.
Splendid. Dr. Buthelezi, thank you very much indeed. So, Golly, a day in which events here have advanced in a positive direction for the family, in that they now have a firm understanding that within the next few days they are going to be able finally to bring the ambassador's remains back to South Africa.
Simon Marks, thank you very much indeed, and such a beautiful interview, and in the manner in which you have handled this particular story yourself, Simon Marks. Thank you very much for the manner in which you have delivered the news to all South Africans, and of course the family as a whole. Dr. Buthelezi, continuously accessible to our colleague in France, and as you've heard in that interview, the hurdles are now cleared, and it is anticipated that on Thursday the family will make the flight home, and the anticipation is that by Friday they will touch down in South Africa. And as you will know, there have been a number of people visiting the Mthethwa family home in Gwambonambi, and they have been visiting that home as is custom when someone dies, and that family in KZN has been waiting in anticipation that indeed their son, their loved one, will be brought back home. And that's where we are right now. It's a story, though, we are going to continue following, as you have heard also during the course of that interview that there will be that important ritual that will need to be performed before Ambassador Mthethwa's remains are brought home, and that is called fetching the spirit. The understanding is that the family will be headed to France as well, and therefore all of them, at least it's assumed, they will come back with the remains.